You're listening to The Wellness Lounge, the space where wellness isn't just a checklist, it's a lifestyle. I'm your host, Alex, licensed esthetician and beauty business owner for nearly a decade. Here, I share what I've learned on my own path to healing, because glowing skin begins with a radiant life. Welcome to The Lounge, your place to recharge, thrive, and unwind. Hey guys, and thank you for tuning in to today's episode of The Wellness Lounge. I have a few things that I want to talk about today regarding skincare because that is my line of work. And so we are going to be talking about gua sha, microcurrent, lymphatic drainage. If you don't know what any of those things are, we will get into it, so don't worry. But first, before we dive in, I just wanted to take a moment of gratitude for ourselves, and I want you to pick something that you're grateful for in this moment, whatever that might be or look like for you. It could be something materialistic, it could be not something materialistic, it could be a relationship, it could be a goal that you achieved, anything. I just want you to pick that thing that you are grateful for and sit with that for a minute and close your eyes and really take a deep breath and just feel that feeling of gratefulness. I will share what I am grateful for, which my house, we purchased our first home last year, and it's coming together as far as the decorating and how I want it and making it our own. I'm very grateful for that. I know that it's extremely hard to buy a house these days, and the fact that we were able to purchase a home with hard work and dedication makes me extremely grateful, and not just that, but proud. That's the other thing, feel proud of yourself. Feel proud of yourself for something that you've accomplished, something that you didn't think that you could do, that you proved yourself wrong. For me, losing weight was a big one. So those two things I'm extremely grateful for, and also very proud of the hard work and dedication that it's taken to get there. So give yourself a pat on the back. Really appreciate yourself. Don't be hard on yourself today. There's so many things we could focus on that we haven't done yet or we feel like we can't do. But think about the things that you have done and how far you've come and how proud you are of yourself. Sometimes changing that mindset could be a huge shift in your day. So now that we took a moment of gratitude, I want to go ahead and dive in and talk about the different skincare techniques today that I mentioned: microcurrent, gua sha, and lymphatic drainage. They all kind of go hand in hand, and I'll explain why. But the first thing I want to talk about is microcurrent. It's a low-level electrical therapy used in skincare and aesthetics to stimulate the facial muscles and skin cells, kind of like a gentle workout for your face. So how does this technology work? It uses very tiny electrical currents measured in microamperes that mimic the body's own natural electrical signals. It helps lift and tone facial muscles. It improves circulation. It can help with product penetration. It also boosts ATP production, cellular energy, which supports collagen and elastin production, which is going to help your skin stay youthful. What does it feel like? Every device is going to feel different depending on the strength and if you're using it in an aesthetic spa or if you're using a home device, but mostly it feels like tingly. What are the benefits? Which I kind of gave you a little examples of what the benefits are, including, keeping your skin more youthful, producing collagen, elastin. But mainly it's facial contouring. It's going to make your skin and your face look more snatched, give you kind of like that more chiseled look. it's going to have a lifted appearance. So if you do it immediately after, sometimes if you do, especially your brow area, you'll notice your brows are kind of immediately lifted. The texture of your skin is going to be smoother, and your skin is going to have a better glow to it because there's going to be more blood flow and oxygen and nutrients being able to be absorbed into your skin. A really important tip that I actually didn't know when I first started using microcurrent is your skin isn't naturally conductive enough for the microcurrent to travel smoothly. You need to have some sort of conductor gel or something to allow the current to penetrate deeper into your skin. You don't want to use any oil-based products, acids, retinols, thick creams, or glycerin before doing your microcurrent. When I do my microcurrent, I typically wash my face and have my face completely bare when I do my microcurrent, partially because I don't like the microcurrent conductor gel on my skin. You could use like ultrasound gel, you can use even water could be a good conductor, especially because the gel dries really fast. So I usually do a little bit of the gel and then I could just keep spritzing with water during the treatment so that way it just has a nice glide to it. But I don't love the feeling of that on my face. So I wash it off after I'm done with my microcurrent, and then I go ahead and proceed with the rest of my skincare just how I normally would in the order that I would. I want to talk to you about devices. There are very little microcurrent devices on the market that I would recommend. One of them I own at home, and it's the New Face device. It's going to run you about $300, so it is an investment, but I do believe in the product strongly. I've been using it for about a year now, and I definitely see results. I think that product has been around, at least I've seen it for probably the last 7 years, maybe. So it's definitely one of the leading products in the industry for at-home microcurrent devices. If you are interested in purchasing one of the devices, I do have an affiliate link via my LTK account. I have that linked in my bio on my Instagram. Also, you could reach out to me and I'd be happy to help you that way as well. In the future, I'm going to manifest that I will have them available on my website, but until then, I'd be happy to help you through my Instagram or even my phone. In conclusion, my favorite at-home devices are the New Face devices. They have a few different ones, small, larger, compact. You could look on their website as well to see the different options. For spa grade or professional grade microcurrent, my favorite device that I have looked into getting into my treatment room is the Nuatrice device, I think is how you pronounce it. I have not gotten it yet because if I invested in all the things that I thought was good for the treatment room, I would probably go broke. But I do love that machine, and if I were to get a professional grade microcurrent machine, that would be the one to get. What is the difference between an at-home device and a professional device? Well, the professional devices are usually going to be way less compact. They're also probably going to be a lot stronger because you need to have some sort of training or skill set to be able to provide the service. But home devices are a great way to remain consistent and to get some really great results, especially if you might not be ready to invest in getting a professional treatment because those can be pricey. And, like I said, the home device is $300, and I'm sure professional services can be even close to that. So to be able to use it every day versus once, I always tell my clients whether you can get a facial once a month or use your products at home every single day. Using your products every single day is going to go so much further than getting a facial once a month. Same goes for the microcurrent. If you only get one microcurrent service once a month, compared to having a home device and using that every single day, that's going to be more beneficial for you. Using a more consistent routine and being more consistent with it is usually 9 times out of 10 always going to be the better way to go with any sort of routine, whether it's working out, supplements, etc. Okay, so how does gua sha correlate with microcurrent? Well, honestly, it typically doesn't, but the home device that I'm referring to, the New Face, has two metal balls on the device that work as a gua sha device. And if you don't know what gua sha is, it's basically a stone. It could be a jade stone, it could be a rose quartz. different types of stones that basically perform a lymphatic drainage massage, and it mimics your knuckles. So if you kind of like bend your index finger and your middle finger into like, I guess like a bunny rabbit type position, and you put your two knuckles on the baseline of your chin and run your one knuckle is underneath your jaw, the other knuckle is on top of your jaw, and run it towards your ear and down your collarbone, that would be a certain pattern for a lymphatic drainage massage. And that's the same pattern that you would use for gua sha. And it's also the same pattern that you would use with the microcurrent device, the new face specifically. And you do one side of your face and then the other. There's different quadrants. So you do the baseline of your chin, the little corner of your lip to your ear, above your lip, back to your ear again, underneath, like next to your nose, under your eye, and you go outward towards the center of your face, towards the outside of your ear. And then once you get to your temple area, you start to brush upwards, and you want to raise that brow area and then go down underneath your jaw, where there's a main lymph node right underneath your earlobe, and you want to make sure that you're flushing all of the fluid down to that main lymph node so it can flush out in detox. And whether you're using a new face device, whether you're using your knuckles, whether you're using a gua sha stone, you're going to do the same pattern. It doesn't matter. That's the lymphatic drainage massage pattern to efficiently boost your lymphatic system and depuff your face and help it get that more chiseled, sculpted look. And the reason I love the new face device specifically so much is because anything that has more than one function, I love, because I'm a multitasker. I love to get more than one thing done at the same time. It fills my soul because saving time is precious. So if I can microcurrent my face, meanwhile I'm doing a lymphatic drainage massage on myself, that is a huge plus for me. So now that I gave you an example of what microcurrent is, now that I told you what gua shaing is, which gua shaing is just a tool to achieve lymphatic drainage. Lymphatic drainage is what we're wanting to promote, which I'm going to dive into a little bit more specifically of what lymphatic drainage is so you can understand why we would want to gua sha or promote lymphatic drainage. And there are so many different tools that you can use to promote lymphatic drainage. I'm going to list a couple, but I'm sure I missed some because there's a lot. But I'm going to basically tell you the ones that I've used and the ones that I resonate the most with when I think lymphatic drainage. If I need to boost my lymph system, what I'm going to go to in my go-tos. So, like I mentioned, gua sha, the new face microcurrent. There's vibration plates, which I personally have a vibration plate that I stand on for roughly 10 minutes every morning before I jump in the shower. While I'm on my vibration plate, I will do my new face device, and also I will dry brush. So I dry brush from the bottom of my feet up until my ankles, the back of my knees, up my thighs, my groin area, my stomach, my collarbone, chest, décolleté area, my arms, and my armpits, and a little bit around my neck. But my neck is very sensitive, as a lot of people's are. So I don't go too hard because the dry brush can be a little abrasive for certain thin areas. And also, I ice roll, and jade rollers is another one. In my opinion, the jade roller is less effective than the gua sha, so I don't really even do jade rollers, but there are certain times where a jade roller can help depuff, especially because the stone can usually be cold. But if I was going to use the concept of a jade roller, I would rather use an ice roller because the cold of the ice roller, usually leave it in the freezer, is going to help depuff and reduce cortisol levels. So I do prefer an ice roller over a jade roller. So I do my lymphatic drainage routine every day. Takes me anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes. To be really honest with you, it kind of depends on how much time I have in the morning. If I'm running a little late, it might only be 5 minutes. But if I might have a slower morning, which I've been tending to do these days because slower mornings, I just feel so much more vibrant throughout the day, it's going to be closer to 10 minutes. And if I'm going real slow, maybe even 15. But I usually shoot for around 10 minutes. I feel like that's my sweet spot, maybe even 12 minutes. 15 minutes just tends to be too long for me. And I feel like that's not sustainable. I don't know why those 3 minutes make a difference, but they do. Another way that you can promote lymphatic drainage is a sauna. I don't have a sauna at my house, but I would love to eventually get one. I do have one at work, although for me in my routine, I find it really hard to consistently use the sauna at work because, to be honest, when I'm done with work, I usually just want to go home. But if you have access to a sauna, specifically an infrared sauna, which that will have to be a separate episode, the difference between traditional and infrared, that would be great for you to use. Another super easy way to promote lymphatic drainage, let's say you don't have a dry brush, is you can do tapping on certain areas of the body, almost kind of like slapping. I don't know if you've ever gone to the nail salon and how they kind of like pound your legs and you might be like, what are they doing? Like, this does not feel good. They're actually promoting lymphatic drainage. Sometimes they do it a little too hard than they need to be really honest with you. But that is going to be the concept of tapping at home, or maybe even kind of slightly hitting, but not too hard. And you want to hit on certain chi areas of the body. So just how I told you that I do my dry brush, how I start at my ankles and work my way up, that's what you're going to do with your hands. And you're going to basically tap the outside of your ankles, the inside of your ankles, outside of your knee, inside of your knee, and just go up the body. You can look up a lymphatic system chart on Google or even ChatGPT, and it will tell you certain areas that you can hit, certain chi areas and certain lymphatic drainage areas. That's going to help you, one, move stagnant chi, which is energy, and also promote the lymph system and move that lymph and be able to flush it out. So now that I gave you a ton of different lymphatic drainage techniques, I'm going to dive into what is lymphatic drainage and why we need to do it and what's going to help. So lymphatic drainage is a gentle massage technique that's going to help stimulate the lymph system. It's actually very light. You don't need to do a hard, deep tissue massage. And some people think the harder you do it, the more effective it's going to be. It's actually going to be the opposite because the lymph vessels are just right under the skin. You could barely just swipe your hand wherever you're trying to drain that lymph system, and that's going to promote the lymph moving because it's just right there. If you've ever cut yourself, or even let's say you've popped a pimple, which I don't advise because I'm an esthetician, but let's just say you did and it was a real juicy one, you just couldn't help yourself, and that pussy fluid is going to be coming out. That's lymph fluid. That's that clear kind of almost yellowy type consistency. That's lymph. So it doesn't take very much to stimulate that lymph. I also want to be a little bit more specific. When you express a pimple and it's the white cheese-like consistency, sorry if you have a weak stomach, but that's kind of what it is. That's going to be the sebum. That's going to be the actual clogged port. That's not lymph. What I'm talking about is after the fact, when you've already expressed the pimple, it might even start to bleed a little bit, and then it's going to have that clear consistency afterward. That's a little bit more specific of what I wanted to give you that visual. I know that's kind of a gross visual, but I'm an esthetician, so that's what I correlate it with. Our lymph system is our body's filtration. Lymph nodes are where toxins, excess fluids, and pathogens get filtered out. Lymph fluid is full of waste and white blood cells. Just a quick description of what pathogens are. Pathogens are microorganisms that cause disease in the body. It could be bacteria, fungus, viruses, parasites, and the list goes on. How does the lymph system work? Typically, lymph moves through the body naturally using muscle movement and breathing. Actually, if you're breathing, you're doing lymphatic drainage, or if you're working out, you're moving your muscles, or even just raising your arms. That could be a form of lymphatic drainage. Sometimes our lymph system can get slowed down by illness, injury, lifestyle. Surgery can sometimes cause that fluid to build up and add puffiness or sluggishness. Sometimes when we get sick, we might notice maybe being more puffy because our lymph system needs to work extra hard to filter out what is in our body, the pathogens that are in the body, and they swell. And so they might be a little bit more stagnant because they have more work to do. But when we have a lymph system that's functioning at prime function, it's going to help reduce swelling. It's going to reduce bloating, especially if you've been traveling or if you had surgery or if you were sick. You're going to notice your recovery a lot faster. It was going to help you decrease puffiness. It's going to give you more energy because your body is going to feel better, right? You're not going to feel so drained and sluggish and it's really going to help your overall feeling good. I mean, who feels good when they feel bloated and they feel swollen? I mean, I know I don't. So when I feel lighter and I feel less puffy and swollen and I'm like, ooh, I might be feeling a little skinnier, I might be feeling a little lighter, and it's going to make you feel better. Trust me. If you are interested in any lymphatic drainage tools or techniques, I am going to be posting them on my Instagram, and I have in the past as well. I have an LTK account, which I'm still new to, but basically I can post a certain tool or technique. I could post a tool or a product or something that I use, and you can go to my LTK account, and usually it will have a link where you can buy the item, whether it's a vibration plate, whether it's a new face device, a dry brush, whatever. Eventually, I would love to have all these things on my website, but to be really honest with you, I don't think that's feasible because I would have 1,000 things on my website. So until I get to that point, the LTK account is perfect. Anything I ever recommend, I have used. I am not somebody who's going to recommend something that I haven't used or something that I don't believe in. That's just not my character. And a lot of my clients that I've had for a long time, I feel like would back me up on that because I usually guarantee all the things that I sell and I use them religiously. A lot of the things I recommend, I don't even make a profit from, which from a business perspective, I probably should because there are so many things that I recommend that my clients absolutely fall in love with, but I'm getting there. Like I said, I'd love to have everything on my website, but I'm a one-woman show and that's a lot of investment and work, but I'd love to get there. So eventually when I do have a full functioning website with all of the things that I love, you'll know I've made it. But until then, follow my Instagram. I post a lot of links and different items that I use that you can purchase through there that I share because I am not a gatekeeper. I am all about sharing tips and tricks to make you look and feel your absolute best. So until next time, have a great day, and thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for tuning into today's episode of The Wellness Lounge. Just a quick reminder, everything we share here is for education and inspiration purposes only. It's not medical advice. As always, check with your healthcare provider before making any changes to your wellness routine. If you enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and leave us a review. You can also connect with me on Instagram at aesthetics.by.alexandra for a more behind-the-scenes look. You can also go to my website, aestheticsbyalexandra.com, for more information. Until next time, stay radiant, stay grounded, and most of all, stay well.